Hello, everyone. Hi there. My name is Chris Farah. Welcome to my channel where come follow me down into the valley night where all the flowers bloom. You guys, if you're listening on YouTube, hi, or you could be listening on my RSS podcast, Vanity Farah. Either way, we are talking Traitors. This is season 4. It's an episode recap of multiple episodes. So this is 6 through 8. I'm super excited to talk to you all. As you guys know, Peacock is releasing on Thursdays episodes of Traitors. So this is a little behind, but at the same time, you, YEW, will be up to date, hopefully, as you go into the next batch. At the same time, as we look ahead on the docket, hi. Are you guys interested in the fact that Love is Blind is premiering? New season Love is Blind is dropping. Ohio? How do you feel about that? I'm excited to do it. I don't know if you're going to be watching Hawaiian Dude, if you're a big Love is Blind fan. Um, I'm excited to get some, fresh batch of singles just in time for Valentine's Day. I'm wearing red across the board. If you're in YouTube land, please go ahead and like this video. Please subscribe to YouTube. I'm going to wait a little bit and just let people populate the room before I get into it. But how are you guys? Hi. If you are into watching my YouTube channel, or if you've been keeping abreast, yes, this is a see-through, like a see-through screen that's supposed to have you not see what's behind it, which is the messiest apartment as I transfer this apartment to a new apartment I'm moving to. I've been in this one for 15 years, and I find that shocking. And I'm like, once I said it out loud, I was like, oh my God. And it's just every time horrifying. So, at the same time, how lovely for me that I get to just throw things away. I did not move yet. I can't wait to. I'm going to fully show on YouTube, even though it's not recappy, my new place and like talk about decorating and stuff like that. I've decided I just want to have some fun, like with some other content. But yeah, no, I basically in LA, it's been super hot and super chill the whole time, and the entire other country weather-wise has been going through it. But it started raining this week, so I technically am moving next week, and I'm hoping that it's not going to rain. I'm moving from my home of 25 years. Pieces. First of all, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Second thing is, yeah, okay. I thought obviously saying 15 years was a whole hell of a lot. And it is, right? Like, but 25 years is a lot too. It's like it can do nothing if not have a complete change on your nervous system to suddenly put yourself in a new setting visually, the whole thing all the time. Like it's a lot. I'm super excited for what that brings. And like same for you pieces. Like honestly, it has to be a good energy shift. It just, I think that everything changes and shifts anyway. So to sort of facilitate that, it will like shake some cobwebs up. It might like be it is uncomfortable to change, right? But at the same time, there's always untold riches at the end. So yeah, also some surprises. Also, nothing is perfect. So that's something that's hard for me. I tend to want everything to be perfect. And then when there's setbacks or when there's small things, I'm like, oh my God, I'm very anxious. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm laughing because I get you so much. Yeah. I'm so I'm so anxious. I have to get my cousin to come help me. I am getting movers to move. Well, I don't have like, just like a bunch of like strapping men in my life, like children or whatever to like, carry things from me, like in big trucks. That's not my life. So I literally have to hire movers so they can move like my mattress and my big bed. But yeah, like all of it just to go through it. And then even throwing things away that don't bring joy. Let's just to say you're going through things and you're like, oh, that doesn't spark joy. I actually never use it. I've never used it. sometimes I get anxious just throwing things away. I can see how I could become a hoarder. I could be I think because yes, I think that I assign sentimental value to items sometimes where I'm like, for instance, okay, for instance, I'm going to show you something right now. I'm going to show you something right now and then I'll start the I'll start the recap. Don't even worry about it. And I'll remind myself to make a comment if I want to start. Okay. I'm moving. There's all this stuff everywhere, right? I'm gonna show you something that I have never used. I'll never use because it's like I'm never gonna. I don't really know how to use it, and it's like not my thing. But like I don't want to throw it away because I spiritually think that something could happen to me if I do, or I think it's bad. Okay, like, it's, it's a Pisces candle. Like, I have, like, some, like, kinda, like, hippy dippy witchy kinda Pisces candle, and I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do. Was I supposed to burn it? I never did. Am I supposed to burn it during my season? Technically, that's starting. Shit, am I supposed to burn it? Maybe I shouldn't throw it away. See, this is what you do. See, I've never this is you know how old this is? You know how old I bought this? I bought this I didn't buy this. Someone gave this to me. I'm just gonna go ahead and put out a year, like, at least 6 years ago. I just never used it because I just don't like you know what it is? I'll say, first of all, I'm like, I don't know when I was supposed to use it. I don't know if I'm just supposed to burn it. I'm very bougie about my candles and about the smells that emit from them. So but at the same time, now I'm like, I wonder if I should just burn it since it's literally the season I'm about to move. So now I just talk myself out of it, and that's how hoarders work. And, can you imagine doing that in your mind for everything? I mean, this is what it is. I help me. And also, God bless you, pieces. Okay. My birthday's coming up. Yes, March 7th. Okay, you guys, let's get into this recap. We're going to start. Hi. Welcome if you are in the YouTube room. Hello. We're going to talk about Traitors season 4. It's an episode 6 through 8 mega recap. And also, if you're listening, hi, welcome, Vanity Farah. My name is Chris Farah, my podcast. If you are listening, please give 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts or like, subscribe, follow, whatever you'd like to do, honey, on whatever social media that you enjoy. Chris Farah, Chris L. Farah, or Vanity Farah across the board. I'm excited about Traders. As I know, Peacock is releasing episodes on Thursday, which will happen. And then we get a fresh batch of that. But we also have so much on the docket. Besides that, of course, 90 Day Fiance Single Life premiered this week. And that was really exciting. We got some confessions and some shocks there, of course, before the 90 Day Fiance is happening. And as I mentioned, Love is Blind is happening. So many TV shows, so little time, so much happening in the world. Why ever leave your couch? No need. Just stay there. Hopefully you have a friend. All right. I'm excited about this. The fashions have been so good on Traders. It's interesting because it used to be like, obviously, Alan would have great fashion and there'd be some people that would know to throw down and like do the Lord's work or whatever. But like it does feel like everyone now knows they have to come with it. If not, the stylists work with everyone to procure what feels like perfect wardrobes before making them come on the show. Um, yeah, that's really exciting. And B, this batch of episodes obviously goes through the Black Feast, which was really over the top aesthetically fucking feast. I really enjoy the fact that Traders does give us camp. It does give us over the topness in a kind of RuPaul's drag, kind of race way that is fabulous and is like a visual scrumptious, luxurious, decadent, like smorgasbord of fashion and, like style, beauty, all of it. I like it. I think that also it's interesting, we shift culturally, and then there was a whole moment where it feels like pop culture and culture just style wise was like clean girl aesthetics, like, push back hair, like really pulled back, and then just dewy ass makeup, like makeup that looks like it was just spray painted on wet as hell and then just left. You know what I'm saying? Like makeup that looks to me kind of like if the women from the end of Death Becomes Her, when they're again spray painted on, if they were Instagram models. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're moving away from all of that to a little more fun, and that's exciting for me. I mean, I still am enjoying, like, a muted eyeliner. Right now it's just eyeshadow, but girls are doing brown eyeliners, they're giving a little something. Zara Larsson, I feel like, ushered in kind of like a 2016 mixed with a Lisa Frank vibe that's, like, blue eyeshadow and, sun-kissed pink cheeks. I just read on Reddit that beauty makeup artist Lisa, I think Edelstein, forgot one of them. One of the famous makeup artists, and I just will go back and find out who that is. I'm so sorry. I literally just read it like moments before I pushed play. Had done a master class talking about how blush is back in. So all this to say, I like the fact that we can luxuriate in having fun or joy. Like sitting in something that feels good feels like a maximalistic kind of aesthetic. And the other side of that, the like clean girl aesthetic is like efficiency, get things done, have your matcha, get going, go to Pilates, go to this, and just like, and there's something kind of like fuck it all, move to New York and become like a bohemian artist, like, that sells whatever they can to like scrape by, but like every night stays out to like 4 with all of their friends and like has songs and music and sex for the rest of their life, with like various fun people. I'm just like, it feels like there's two realities and you can pick which one, clean girl or bohemian, bohemian artist. And I think that like one of the like hard things about me is that I'm such an extremist. I sort of like ride both lines. Like I want both. I'm like, I really want to be healthy. I also want to just be decadent. And I'm like a slovenly spinner, slovenly swimmer, Okay, my babes, let's get in. I know I keep saying let's get in and then I just don't do it. But no, episode 6 was really, really good. This whole, again, once they get into Black Banquet, I'm into it. All of it's good. But here's the thing. This batch of episodes, spoiler alert, is the fall of the traitors, fall definitely of the female traitors, of the housewives, and I mean the rise of the super traitor, Rob, who is arguably playing a game and didn't have any competition. It's interesting because the way they pick traders has to be spread across the board in a way that makes people not suspect teams and like franchises like housewives versus gamers, but also like men versus women, like franchise versus franchise. So you can't have like all the gamer people, like you can't have like two gamers and then they're all like Big Brother people as against, one survivor, one amazing race, whatever. It has to be spread, and this trader situation was interesting. They had 2 housewives. You might think for a moment they might give Dorinda a trader situation early on, like she, to give her the option to be a trader because of the fact that she got voted off and then let her back on. But they didn't. They gave Lisa trader status, and Lisa is a huge target because her personality is so over the top. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to be a housewife, and then it's one thing to be a Lisa Rinna. It's like one thing to be a housewife and one thing to be an Erica Jane or like a Lisa Vanderpump, or Teresa Giudice, like even though it's like there's housewife people that go a little under the radar or don't have like such over the top personalities. But Lisa is an actress and she wants you to know she's not a housewife and she shouldn't be. She is an actress. She wants to be an actress. Not only is she an actress, she's kind of a diva. Not only is she a diva, she has 2 daughters that she wanted to make models and now they're models. I'm just saying like this personality wants fame, wants attention, eyes on her. Okay. So to me, she's already like, now that I've said this, episode 6, a weird, bad, if not, I mean, a bad choice to be a traitor because she's going to have heat on her already. And you would have to trust that she knows how to play game in a way that is specific. It's not Hollywood game. It's not like pretending to schmooze at Hollywood parties. It's like you need to have the strongest allies in the room physically, and you have to be cutthroat. And the funny thing is, you could be like, Chris, that is Hollywood. It's surprising that Lisa didn't know that, but she didn't. Traitors. Okay, so here it's like she never watched Traitors. It's like she never even played Mafia or like Werewolf. It's like as if literally her agent called her and was like, "There's this fabulous show." Wait, let me before I even tell you anything, just know this, Lisa. You get to wear couture fashion. There's no other reality show besides maybe Drag Race or something that you could wear the clothes that you get to wear on the show. It's fucking great. And she'd be like, yes, yes, yes. And they'd be like, okay, it's also Traitors, Alan Cunningham on. She's like, okay, whatever, I'll do it. They make her a traitor and she's not that great. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Candace is great. Candace, I never watched Potomac, but from what not knowing her whole backstory, from what I know, she seems to have some similarities to Portia in that she is a lawyer, right? Yeah, Candace is a lawyer from Potomac, which is, like a fancy part outside of Washington D.C., and Portia, oh, why not Portia? Um, oh my god. Who was a traitor from oh my god, I'm having like a mental breakdown. It's because, by the way, I have to be honest about I'm having like oh, wait one second. First of all, I remember Gabby. Oh my god, how amazing she was. And by the way, also side note is, can you believe the fact that we have to suffer through those Taco Bell commercials? I just think it's so funny. The Taco Bell commercials between um wait one second, I'm reading two things. The Taco Bell commercials between Caroline and Dolores are absolutely hilarious. And every time I see them and I'm like, "Oh, I really, you know what? I absolutely would enjoy some Taco Bell. Thank you very much." But they also look, and I'm going to go back to what I'm talking about, don't even worry about it. They also look like they are AI or like absolutely retouched. Every time I see those commercials, I look at them, I'm like, "What is happening right there? Why can't I see your face?" Okay, let me go back. Candace is like Phaedra in that they're both reality show Bravo housewives from upper class areas, and both are very smart, very cerebral lawyers. And so both are great trader choices. It's just somewhat interesting because it feels like, to me, you should not have had the two Real Housewives, because then you have two people that are like somewhat on a team, and then you have a Rob, and Rob doesn't feel any sort of loyalty at all towards obviously Candace and Lisa. He doesn't have to. They unfortunately feel like alone the Traitors have a natural alliance without having to forge it through social camaraderie and or like making sure someone's in your pocket. It doesn't feel like Candace ever tries to make sure Rob is in her pocket, and I wish she did. Like, I wish that Candace knew early on that Rob was A, hot as hell. I mean, she probably knew that. And also B, a physical comp beast. And then C, that if she could get him on her side, talk game with him, get him to like think of her as not only an ally because she's a traitor, but an ally because they are wanting to work at the end together. But Rob has been laying those seeds with Colton, okay? And Lisa, both Lisa and Candace feel like they're playing singular games. And this is where I think one of the most important shows to watch if you are preparing to go on Traitors is Big Brother. Like, you need to be watching Big Brother. You need to be doing math. That's why when Johnny Weir and Eric start talking about having the numbers, that's Big Brother to me. Or like Survivor, sure. Like where you are actually being like, no, to get to the next level, you need to be able to, at the round table, walk in controlling the vote before you go in. And you control the vote by having an alliance of majority winning and being like, it's this person. It's this, we're voting out this person. And then when you go in, who cares about whatever says? Like, unless something is said so dire that it changes the course of some of one or two votes, it's like, that's how you control the game. That's how you win the game. And here's the thing. I hate him. I think that there's probably a metaphor for this world. I would like to go through this world doing my absolute best, forging the relationships organically and authentically that I do, wanting to be faithful and wanting to be loyal and wanting, to not die and not to kill anyone, and trusting that the magic of the universe is working out without any nefarious energies working against me. But unfortunately, as I get older, I realize that people are trying to move the needle in their favor in so many ways, like obviously in vast political ways or whatever, in such a way that to be ignorant of some of those tendencies and energies is only going to shoot yourself in the foot. You can't enter a game like this and think you can just float through and make the best possible choice when you can. You have to walk in being like, I'm going to talk to this person and that person. I can see that they're strong players. I can see how they're talking to people. I'm going to talk game. I'm going to make myself indebted to them. I'm going to have them think that they should run their moves by me because I think things through, because I come to them with choice bits of information to make them think that I am invaluable. Like, that is how you play this. It's wild to me they don't know. Okay, so basically, as we pick up, Michael has left because no one has took the shield, and people start saying, unfortunately, Ron is the easiest target of being obviously a traitor, and we know that he's not. It's interesting that he's on the show because he is a lovely comedian and he didn't know a lot of the people on the show, and they certainly didn't know him, and they certainly didn't know how to take him. And he's almost like the first time that there's a famous, very funny everyman. I mean, Ron is a very astute, comically gifted, person. So it's not that he's an everyman, but in that he's like not, on reality shows in such a way. Now he is, but what I'm saying. Um so Colton still wants Renna, and Rob isn't willing to vote out Ron because Rob and Ron share a beautiful moment where they kind of open up. It's like, I don't know Rob's life at all, but Rob feels like he's charms more than just the ladies and more than just the gay men, but snakes on, his property. He's always just, catching snakes. He sometimes like drops interesting things about his life, that he's had to deal with a lot of conflict, that he, spends again like a lot of time just throwing rocks, that he is hard to read and every person in his life has told him that. And Ron, I think that, so after Ron has been on the show, the talk of the show and the talk of the internet has gotten to him, and they've like labeled him as being maybe like on the spectrum or neurodivergent, and he's like, I think, somewhat confirmed that. And it's interesting, and also he went in on Dorinda and said that there was a bunch of shit that we didn't see, that she was like racist. I mean, this is me like putting kind of words in his mouth, but that basically she said wildly uncouth and or inappropriate things that the cameras either caught and then didn't put forth or whatnot. And he said the last part I'm about to say on a podcast, he, not mine, ha ha ha, I wish, he can't wait to come on the tell all, honey, can't wait. And he's going to come out guns blazing. I'm so excited because he said it. If you kill him, this is what he said to the traitors, They will regret it. Now, they didn't kill him, he was banished, but that's unfortunate. Because that is exactly what happens. Spoiler alert, but before that happens, the challenge of this one was the haunted cabin mission, and this one is okay. It's always like they have obviously their categories of missions. We'll get into what my favorite one is, but there's always kind of like a scary one that's almost like bugs are involved or blood or a series of both or maggots or spiders. It's like, can you handle it? It's that kind of fear factory kind of thing. Now, I can handle, I think, anything but bugs. If it's not, if it's a live thing, I cannot handle it. If it's something that it's just like a texture thing, I can withstand it. Like I can endure it. For instance, not to always talk about Big Brother, but like if I had to be just like sitting somewhere and someone was just like, like throwing a bunch of paint on me or a bunch of water was being dumped on me and I was just like, oh no, and just like being thrown on me, I'd just like be okay, that sucks. So I would just like deal with it. I think I would just like try and like disassociate myself and from my body. But if there's something crawling on me, if something is alive and moving on me, and I'm already alive, I already move, I'll move. Oh, I'll move. You know what I'm saying? Like not two of us, only me alive touching me. This makes sense what I'm saying. I'm so scared. So basically, yeah, they have to like spell out clues like on a Ouija board, and then like bugs rush over them, and then they like they decide what the answer is. They have to rush to a grave, and then a hand comes up if it's right or whatnot with money, and it is fun. It's very Halloweeny. That's exciting. They can get shields or prize money if they choose the prize money. All of they can get shields, or they get prize money, and they choose to get the prize money. Jam Jam wants, or Yam Yam wants to get, Jam Jam wants to get a shield, and that of course puts suspicion on him. However, the traitors are overjoyed because now they can just kill. When the banishment talks, people go in as Colton versus Ron. I've already kind of said what happens. Colton goes for Lisa. Instead of trying to banish a traitor, I'm going to hold one hostage. And he like had tried to get her to admit that she was a traitor to him. I don't know why he thinks that she would do that. I think it's because I think that Colton operates from a place of being able to wield the fact that he is an attractive person and engaging and charming in so many ways. I bet the fact that he looks the way he does gets pretty privilege from everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like there are problematic things about Colton that you might know if you are in the Bachelor world. And there are things are happening on the internet now as he's on the show where things are being brought back up of what he, unfortunately, like what he did to the contestant that he chose when he was a Bachelor. Her name is Michelle Rudolph. She has a sister, Casey Rudolph, I think is like on one of the Yellowstone things, or one of, maybe I even got their names confused. Those are the Randolph sisters. He dated one and just like harassed the shit out of her when he was still like straight. He was never straight, but when he was still in the closet is what I should say. When he was not open with himself, straight. When I had said that, I had put in air quotations, and I forgot that you can't see me do that on podcasts. Anyway, at that time he had harassed her and like had done this crazy ass fucking thing where he had said that he had harassed her and said when he was harassing her that he was someone else. So he like catfished, harassed her, and then told this girl that was the contestant that won Bachelor that same catfish harasser was doing it to him. And so it was like, yeah, we're both being like stalked by this crazy person, and it was him the whole time. And the actual details are bananaramas. Okay, so Colton is a little scary, and I mean it may be a lot. And at the same time, it's interesting because he really has like somewhat of an audacity to think that he is just going to get Lisa Rinna to just be like, you're right, Colton. I am a traitor. I trust you. I'm going to throw away my whole game because you're cute and you're gay and I like fabulous men. Like, I don't know what he thought Lisa was going to do. Because at first, of course, he wants to be like, you can use me or whatever. But at the same time, he's dumb. That's already happening. He already is being used by a traitor, Rob. Lisa knows that. Who doesn't? Who doesn't know? Colton. So funny. Okay, so as I said, Ron goes home, and when Ron goes home, though, he doesn't not use one of the best techniques of trying to manipulate people to be like, don't do it. As he knows he's going to go home, also because he's the easy one to get to vote off, and so it's just annoying. It's like he knows he's going to be sent home, and he agrees for the greater good because it makes it an easy choice for everyone else. But he says, "Look, I know I'm going to go, so I'm just going to start individually saying my goodbyes." And he goes around, and then it makes certain people not, want to vote him off, like Natalie and Tara and Mark. And as we know, the Colton tries to throw out another name, which is Lisa. He wants to throw out Lisa. He keeps trying to throw out Lisa, even though, he wanted to also go to her and get her to admit that she was a traitor. It was bad gameplay. He is too loud. He's a little like overstepping and overzealous. And I think it's a little bit of like a caucasity situation. Um, when they vote out Ron, it's really, really sad. In the same time, Rob makes an interesting move. Rob, who in the next two episodes is going to play incredibly callously, could have easily, in this moment, voted out Ron because he knew it was going to happen. But he didn't. He, at this point, votes out Lisa. He does not want to be with Lisa. He thinks that, I think, Lisa is already too obvious. And the truth of the matter is she is. And the truth of the matter is I don't know who to blame more, casting or the producers or her. Lisa should have never been the one to do what's going to happen next. She already has so much heat on her. She's like Colton. Both Colton and Lisa at this point should take a goddamn back seat. But you know what doesn't happen? That. So they banish Ron, as I said, and then Alan's like, okay, next is going to be the murder in plain sight. Now, the murder in plain sight is already like obviously a blood on your hands moment. Any person that has watched a game would be like, okay, this is hard and it's going to be challenging. Let's let Rob do it because no one would suspect him. There's not a lot of heat on him. In fact, at the round table, he just fucked me up. You know what I'm saying? Like he just said my name. He could owe me, but that's not what happens. Lisa, who almost went home, who Rob had thrown to the wolves, now cannot let her ego, or the producers told her to, get in the way of being the one to do the murder in plain sight when she realizes that she gets to do it with like a poisoned amulet pin. And it is fabulous. She's like, that's me. That's me. Put the jewel on me. It's me. And she's kind of like, oh, Rob, it really wouldn't work for you. And you know what's interesting? That's the very reason why you should have made him do it. Really? Hey, Lisa, the guy that you're doing Traitors with, the guy that you're supposed to be like trusting, did that guy just fuck you over? You know, it'd be really smart to get people to start to suspect him. And I don't know, having that man prance into the black fucking banquet with a huge ass, ruby ass amulet and then try and get someone to touch it seems awfully suspicious. I can't imagine how that man would do it. I would love to see it. But, it's like I feel like this would happen to me. The performer in her is like, I am the best one to do this. There is no other person to do this. Who would wear an amulet? Well, obviously Candace totally could. Okay. By the way, she totally could. But even Candace, who could, is still like, why would I put that much like attention on me? Lisa can't wait. It's, whatever. So the black banquet happens and everyone looks absolutely fabulous. Candace comes down with this like huge Medusa, gorgeous gold, kind of like dripping headdress. Moira comes down with this red, structured, intricate dress with like this huge headpiece that swirls around her head, honey. It looks like a polo hat. Lisa comes down with that amulet. She looks like Shirley Temple in the sailor piece. It's like sailor vest top, sailor bibbed top with a mermaid Spanish style cha 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 skirt with the amulet. Okay. And she does walk in like a drag queen. She walks in like she's doing like the last runway pass. She even poses in the way at the very like top of the stairs in that kind of svelte style to really accentuate the body line. I mean, I can only imagine how many hours of modeling lessons Lisa willingly sat through when like Amelia, her daughter or whatever, was going through that just to be like, I want to know how to pose better. Anyway, so when they get into the black banquet, it's a feast for the eyes. No, obviously the design team of the show is gorgeous. And I don't know how you feel about tablescaping, but I don't that's like my thing. When I need to go to a place in my mind, a safe place, a place of like refuge, a place that makes me feel like, ooh, there's like a couple of places I can think of. One is like Manoa Falls in Oahu, and like Honolulu is basically the opening shot of like Jurassic Park, like those big ass green ass leaves. It's gorgeous. And it smells like, that. And you can think of like how it feels, like the humidity in the air is palpable. Okay. Yeah. And the second thing is I think about tablescaping. I think about putting out like a beautiful Easter banquet or what I would put out as my Christmas Eve dinner. Like the colors, the textures, the flatware, what the centerpieces would look like, what the candles would look like, what the votives would look like, what I mean, I go to town, like different size glasses, different drinks, obviously. Just the idea of putting all those pieces together and then seeing the entire puzzle, like a puzzle, is it's ideal. It's like a Christmas tree, like at the end you look back and you put the lights in the Christmas tree and it's all one tree, but oh my God, like you put these ornaments here and then you put the tinsel there and it's just so beautiful. It's like tablescaping is the same thing as decorating a Christmas tree. It's like all these parts, these little decoration parts, and then you like suddenly step away and it's all together and it's like, oh my God, you get to sit down at this gorgeous table and have like a sensory feast. And especially, I think the thing about tablescaping is it's not just the table, right? Like then the idea is that's just the fucking first layer, right? The second layer of tablescaping is that ideally you sit down then with people you like, you break bread with, like those people, like family and friends. And then what are you about to do? I don't know. What are my favorite things? Eat yummy things. I mean, I'm assuming that if you put so much time and energy into your tablescaping, that the food you're going to serve on top of such a table with the scaping involved is going to be magnificent, meticulous even. I love tablescaping. So the absolutely gorgeous black banquet has these jewel toned glasses and all this food that's out. The food is colorful. Like they're doing color theory in the food. Now, at the same time, even though it looks good for us, I guess up close, a lot of these meats look like they've just been sitting out there. There's multiple comments being like, how old is this or whatever. I don't know if like what looks like prime rib has been cut, but like maybe like some of the fat has already turned back into that jelly. If that's how you know. I've become such a little baby when it comes to like meats now. I really can only eat the same basic things now. I mean, I'll have some prime rib, but I'm not gonna enjoy it. Prime rib is weird. It's just too soft. Like it just feels like soft gummy gum kind of meat. don't know why, I guess, like, prefer a steak or something. Okay, so obviously Lisa, as I said, has to do her thing, and she goes for Yam Yam, and they don't let us know this at first. They kind of want us to think that maybe she did Natalie or maybe she did Kristen. And so basically, at the end, Alan comes in, and the big twist is like, "Hey guys, guess what? One of you guys has been poisoned. It's already happened." And people have already been like, "Oh my God, don't drink anything. Don't eat anything." And good, because the meat looks weird. There's been tarot cards out, and Steven was like, "Look at these tarot cards. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Why don't you like flip one?" And Steven's also like, "Have some food." Like Steven's just doing the most, which is weird because on camera he was doing the absolute least. Kristen has her tarot card flown over. And at one point, Tara Lipinski was like, "I don't really want any meat," but Dorinda was like, "Have the meat." And so she did have the meat or whatever. And so basically, all this means that suddenly they realize uh, that there's been a murder in plain sight and that there's a twist. The twist is that there's two antidotes. You can have the antidote, you can not die, but if, of course, you've been marked to die and you don't have the antidote, you die. And then they have to fight over it. And I mean, they fight. Natalie from Survivor loses her shit. Natalie wants a potion so bad that, I mean, she jumps out of her chair. She's like willing to forego the entire show. She's like, "I hate everyone here. I don't care what happens. I'm having that potion." People are like, "Are you okay, Natalie?" She's like, "Give me it." She's like foaming at the mouth. She really thinks is it. She later on will be like, "I went into fight or flight." It's interesting because part of it's a game, but part of it's also like, "Girl, you were really not going to die. You know that, right?" No one actually says that to Natalie when she's like out of her seat, like, yelling at people. And I'm surprised. I kind of want at least one saucy ass person to be like, "Hey, Natalie, you're not going to really die, right? It's just a game, right? But girl, we're still here, right?" You know, um, basically, as we know, Kristen, thankfully, and I like her a lot, sort of gets slyly handed a vial of the antidote by Johnny Weir, which I like Johnny Weir and Kristen together. I really like, they are kind of the people I want at the end of the day to win. It's Johnny Weir and Kristen, the chef. Anyway, okay. And I guess by then, also, I guess Tara Lipinski too, by way of the fact that she's kind of like playing like a friend of Johnny. It's just that Tara is so funny. Like, she later on will be like, "I just keep making bad choices," and it's true. Tara has a fun personality, but she is just not a good game player. And I need to see her make some interesting moves, not just like being a lesser version of Natalie, thinking that she needs an antidote when she doesn't. So ends up being that, as we know, Jam Jam dies because Lisa had him touch her amulet. Now, at the moment of him dying, as he's being whisked away, kind of like those weird black shapes in the movie Ghost when they take him to the netherworlds, like people come and just grab him, like it's very scary. He's like, "It's Lisa, Lisa, she kissed me." And Lisa's like, "What? First of all, yes, it is me. No, I didn't kiss you." She's like, "No, I didn't." So then it becomes this thing where, yeah, he thinks that when they first saw each other, that she actually marked him by kissing him. And everyone had like a version of greeting each other that was kisses and or air kisses. Now, Lisa surely did or did not do that. It's not at the forefront of her mind. She did what she had to do, honey, which is make him touch that amulet. I don't know why I don't know why he doesn't get the fact that this huge fake looking ruby-esque garnet thing was it. Because yeah, because she kissed other people. He's just like, "Yeah, it was her." Yeah, he says her, and then she has to like feign, that it wasn't her. And I think at this moment knows that her death certificate has been signed. But I guess I would stand to reason that she should have thought about that the moment she volunteered to do this. Sh It should have been Rob. So after this, people start to suspect Natalie as being one of the traitors because she went so hardcore at the antidote. And specifically, Candace is like, great, I can go for Natalie. It will take the heat off of Lisa because Candace and Lisa, or Lisa, are trying to work together, especially on the heels of being eviscerated by Rob. But at the same time, what's happening for Candace is that she is hitching her boat to a sinking ship. God, it's so sad. Makes me sad. Okay, so Candace goes for Natalie to try, and again, like I say that Rob tries to say Lisa though because of Jam Jam and the lying, and then this whole time Moira has changed into the hugest, biggest, thickest bob wig. I mean, it's so big she can barely like wear a hat on top of it. Like she looks like a bobblehead. I mean, like it's too big, you know, like it looks like 17 wigs on top of that. I mean, if I was in the house alone, I would think she's a traitor because I would think that like one of the new ways to die was like a traitor sits on top of a traitor's head and like stares at you. I mean, I would just, what is that? So basically, the challenge then is that they have to gather gold pieces like across like a steep hillside, and then they get to have a chance to like make it more gold by chucking the pieces of gold at these urns and then earning more gold or whatever. Now, here's the problem: some people aren't good at throwing. Some people don't have an arm. Some people, like Rob, like I said, all he does is skip stones all day when he's not catching snakes and taking off his sleeves. That's all he does. Eh, He's also good at catching people in lies. It's so interesting. What an interesting person. Also hot. I've said that. Okay. Johnny Weir doesn't have good aim. Sometimes you think that like if someone's an Olympian, that means that they are like in fact good at all the athletic endeavors, like just because like it almost like there'd be like some qualification, like you just have to be good at like all the things. There's no reason for me to think a figure skater would be good at throwing anything, but yet I do. I'm like, oh, you can just by the you haven't just been like in the gym doing other things like those ropes or whatever, you know, or just like throwing, I don't know, medicine balls just around, you know, with I don't just doing the functional training. I guess in my mind, I don't do functional training all the time. And I've tried to be more consistent. And right now I'm doing absolutely none of it. But I just assume that if you are peak level Olympian, that you're doing like functional strength training in such a way. I don't know. I don't know if functional strength training is aim and throwing. That's almost like life stuff. I should be good at throwing. Only a fit. That's what I'm good at. Throwing a hissy fit. Throwing a tantrum. I'm really sorry. So basically, people get either gold or not gold, and they decide at the very end that they're not going to win, so they just give their gold to other people. Like Kristen trusts Mark with her gold, and Mark and Johnny Weir are on a team. And then, you know, Lisa decides to give all her gold to Steven, which is a bad look. Tara gives hers to Rob, and then Rob wins easily all the gold. And so then he gets this extra special thing where he gets to go and like people, everyone picks a slate, and your slate might have a dagger. If your slate has a dagger and you get to keep the dagger at the end, you get a special power. But Rob, because he gets all the gold, gets to talk to everyone and see if they have the dagger. He gets to, if he wants, choose one of them to tell him and give him their slate, and then they get the slate that he holds. So Rob, who again is like skipping stones all day, is like, I also fucking can tell people. I can tell when they're lying. So he walks down the list and he's like, my thing is I ask them two questions I know are right, answers I know are correct. And then I ask them the question I think that might be a lie. And I deduct their behavior from C from A and B. And if there's a vast difference, if it's a marked difference between those, then I know that that person's lying. Now, when he breaks it down like that, that's interesting. And then we get to watch him ask all the people from, you know, like Steven to Colton. Like, now Colton does a couple of things. Colton looks like he's lying to me, but because Colton and Rob are on a team, Colton can just do this thing to kind of smile at him, kind of wink at him at the end just to be like, I don't have it. Colton has Not put all literally put all his gold into the basket of Rob. If not, also maybe some feelings. I get it. Boo, I get it. Rob is hot, but like Colton's like, let me carry the gold for you, Rob. It'll come back. Yeah. Half of me is like, okay, if Colton is going to go that hard at Lisa Renna and be like, you're a traitor and I want to lay bare my soul. I know you're a traitor and I want, to like help you. I would love there to have been some sort of moment, or if there was, of Colton kind of being like to the producers, being like, you guys, same thing with Rob. Except that like it's just on the hush hush. Either Rob and I are best friends slash lovers. Rob and I are best friends slash gonna go at the end together, final two deal. Or I know he's a traitor and you keep your friends close and your traitors even closer. Because that's true. And that's what it is. That's why there's like, I mean, this is like a political game. This is what's happening. Johnny Weir's gonna say it later. Like, if you're being protected for a reason by someone in the turret, then like don't fuck that up for yourself until you have to fuck it up for yourself. Colton's undying love and loyalty to Rob would be great if there was a moment where he knew that Rob could be a traitor. And I just don't think it happens. So, Rob goes down, asks Steven, asks all the people, asks Natalie, and Natalie lies. And when they show us the way she answers, it's obvious. She bites her lip and then she answers. And then when he asks her again, so you don't have the dagger, she actually looks away. No, I don't have it. I'm fascinated to know what I look like when I'm lying. I would love to know in the moment if I'm good at lying. Because unfortunately, I do think I'd be good. But I think that's the Lisa Rinna part of me. Like, I think that I'd be, like the only one to deal with the amulet thing, and the amulet thing would bite me in the ass. But like, half of me feels like if push comes to shove, if I had to, I could lie. Now, I've already told you I have a bad poker face. It's like there's a difference. It's like I don't want to be in a situation where suddenly someone tells me a piece of information that is shocking to me and then I have to keep a lid on it. That's where I'm bad. That's where I'm like, oh, you're going to tell that I'm upset. Like there's not, yeah. I mean, if you tell me something that makes me have like an emotional reaction because I didn't know it, or it was like news to me, or I had a revelation, I will not be able to hide my revelation face from you. But if I'm like, Chris, the goal of this is to look at this shirtless cowboy with a bunch of snake tattoos all over his fucking hot ass arms. You have to look at him and then just lie about the dagger. I do think I'd be good. I mean, I hope I won't be robotic, but I don't think I would look away. I think I would be able to make eye contact and just be like, he would be like, what's your name? And I'd be like, you're white. Christine. No. I actually don't want to marry Rob. I'm just like being disgusting for some reason and creepy and sexual about this person. And if the roles were reversed and I was a guy, it'd be disgusting. So maybe I shouldn't be like this way. I just said he is hot. Whatever, God bless. I think that other people are hot too. So I would be like, Christine. And he'd be like, where do you live? And I'd be like, LA. And he'd be like, do you have the dagger? I'd be like, no. I'd have to blink only, later on in life. But the whole time I'd be like, don't blink, but then don't look crazy. Also, don't flirt. Don't do any of those, Chris. And I would just have to like, yeah, do as it did for you. So, guess what? Natalie has it and he gets it. And now Rob is a traitor, having got out, he's about to get out a fucking traitor. Banish alert. Lisa goes. Is about he gets out Lisa, has Colton as his ally, and now has a dagger and as a traitor. I mean, the man is unstoppable. At this point, he won the entire game. I don't even know how you stop him. Like He has too much power. And it's interesting. I think that they should have made, especially with the secret traitor, I think they should have made one of the traitors a male from a gaming situation. I always thought that, yeah, I thought that Jam Jam would have been a great traitor. People are going to start to think of Steven though, and I just never knew Steven enough to be like his personality. But I mean, just Rob has so much power. So, um, they banish Lisa because Lisa, the entire house thinks it's her, and for some reason, Candace, like is not willing to vote for her. So when everyone votes for her, Candace decides to do a loud throwaway vote because her like brigade against Natalie didn't work, and she sort of threw Tara's name under the bus when she was trying to get people to consider why Natalie was even being brought up because of her like viciousness for the antidote. And also because Lisa said that she, and this is true, had said that she might be a traitor with a plural we, but that had already taken out Portia and that was wrong. So like it's a bad argument to stand on. At the same time, the entire house had been like, Lisa, we know it's you. And Candace should have been like, I'm sorry, and write her name down so she doesn't have like an awkwardness on her hands. But she doesn't. Candace refuses to pretend to be an ally with Rob. She hates him that much. So she's like, I'm going to do a throwaway vote for Rob, which looks suspicious. And then in the turret, which is so interesting, they have to see each other and they're obviously pissed at each other. And Alan comes in. He's like, there's tension. Who you're going to kill? And we find out the next episode that Candace was allowed to kill Colton. Now, Rob must have been like, I have to do this. Also, it doesn't ruin my game. And sure, Colton and I are like a good team now, but you can't take him to the end. He's too loud. He's like a little bit of a puppy. He's all over the place. Also, if he gets killed now, it's so untraceable back to me. No one would believe that I would do it. It's like such a red herring. At the same time, it paints a picture on for Candace. So they kill Colton, and everyone is suspicious about Candace now because of the fact that she had the throwaway vote for Rob, and because Rob starts to be like, when before Colton left, Colton said Candace's name. He also, I guess, said Steven's name. For some reason, everyone, like, once everyone realizes someone is a faithful, like Jam Jam or Colton, they start to be like, well, his word was the word of God. If we didn't believe him, we persecuted him, and then he has risen now, and all we have are the writings, the teachings. The teachings of Colton said, that's what it almost feels like a little bit. So Candace has already painted herself in this corner. She, at this point, to me, is already like a dead woman walking. She would have had to have entered into the first night of the turret, taken eyes with Rob, realized that this is a game, and she has to butter him up. She should have flirted so hardcore with him. She should have been putting Mora in a green fucking space. I don't know why she didn't. She should have just been like, even if it's like fun, even if it's Southern and fake, even if it's whatever, like she should have just been like chill with him. Except that Rob isn't charming. Okay. Rob is hot. Okay. But he's not charming. He doesn't have a personality that makes you want to talk to him more. Like, for instance, I feel like if I was in a conversation with Rob, especially now, you would see someone like, like me trying to engage someone who didn't want to engage with me, which, by the way, is like my biggest toxic trait. For some reason, not knowing people do not want to engage with me. Just stop it. Okay, fine. I'm like, oh, they want to talk to me. Like, no, I guess no. Okay. So Candace would have had to turn on everything she had to be like this and that and saying fun things and saying charming things and giving him a little validation and telling him he's great and then making a fun joke. She would have been having to do all of it, talking game, being like, what do you think? Or this person said this, or, she would have had to have been like engaging him. But when she didn't, and when she got mad at him and was on Lisa's side, she just kept putting her head in the ground like a little ostrich. Now she's like, it's me versus him. And we're like, girl, it's not you versus him. It's you versus Rob's house. That's Rob's house. Oh, honey. See, unfortunately, at this point, Rob's going to say this, and this is true. And it's like, I want other people, I mean, they kind of have other people to say this, but it's like, just so I understand. The antidote was the change, a little fun hiccup from the Black Bank of like being killed in plain sight. But the fun thing about the dagger is that it gives whoever got it, which obviously is Rob, this extra power. And the extra power is 2 votes at any round table. So it's a huge advantage. And certain people know that he has it because he's let that slide. His like faithful, loyal group. The faithful, loyal group in turn, low key, know that this guy has some fucking power. He has 2 votes. You don't want to go against someone who has 2 votes. Yes. Yep. So, everyone has Candace's name in their mouth, and Rob said that, so did Colton. So that's what's happening. And Candace is unfortunately like, just on a little dinghy that is just like getting water in. Candace thinks that she has like some friends in her ship, but she has to realize that she doesn't. Like there was never a strong Real Housewives full on group, right? And that's their own fucking fault. They got rid of housewives already. Like, they got rid of Portia, they got rid of the other housewife that was there. Anyway, all that to say, Dorinda and Candace and Lisa weren't even in a strong clique. Sure, they maybe hung out as opposed to other people, but like they weren't conniving in such a way. This challenge is the funnest one by far. I love this challenge. Okay, so basically, what has to happen is the team gets split. Now, one team, 3 people, ends up being Kristen, I think Kristen, Steven, and Rob, get to go to one part of it's described as Alan's Scottish Castle's art room, extra art room. Okay. And then the other contestants, what they get to do is they get to read descriptions and paragraphs, and then they get to like portray or like enact a scene, take a picture of it, and that picture gets sent to the other 3 that they could possibly get a shield. They pick the artwork they think it is, and then it's a match or not. This is kind of like the bird calling one. The concept of this is like a performative aspect that almost always is over the top and goes wrong and is hilarious. For some reason, all of the artwork is very pastoral in theme. So there's like a lot of cows, a lot of horses, a lot of babies, a lot of milkmaids, a lot of like hay, green grassery. It's just farm life or whatever. And so it's great. And it's super fun to watch like Johnny be a horse, or like someone trying to be, a pig or a baby head or whatever. And it's kind of like celebrities, or when you have to like interact, uh impressiony kind of fun social games. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, like celebrities. Okay, so basically Kristen looks over and she sees that one of the pieces of artwork has a canvas backing and none of the other ones do. So she grabs it and it has a shield in it, which is great because she gets the shield and Rob doesn't get the shield. And at this point, if Rob got the shield, he'd be like, "You have too much. It's almost too much." Candace is so upset. She's like, "I literally can't even get people to like give him a break." Like she tried to get Johnny to get a place to get a shield, and everyone's like, "No, Rob, please don't let our Rob have a chance of going." And she's like, "Oh my God, everyone just wants to drink his bathwater." When she says that, I'm like, "Yeah, girl. Yes, you should have been fighting this." Okay. So, here's the thing. When it comes to the round table, we know what's going to happen. It's traitor on traitor. It's the one part of the show that also hasn't been addressed. If you've now watched Traitors, you know that at some point, if you're faithful, you're going to have traitor on traitor fighting, which we've already seen. It's literally obviously already happened. Lisa's gone. Um, there's a traitor fighting on traitor right now. When this is happening, even afterward, it doesn't. I wonder. Yeah, I can't wait to see in the next episodes when people or if people start to piece together what happens as at this round table as being traitor on traitor. Obviously, at this point, the House thinks Candace, because she had done a throwaway vote for Rob, could be a traitor. And Candace had handled herself so well. It's just unfortunate. Just that she didn't make the pivots when she had to make the pivots. There is like a last ditch effort of this game. There's like one final exit that you get where if you don't take that final exit, you're done. Whatever you do after that, it doesn't even matter. Like I don't even know what you could do. She would have had to like have constructed the biggest distraction or takedown to get out of this, but she kept spinning her wheels because unfortunately Candace wants to hang her hat on Rob being a traitor at this point because she feels like Rob's reaction to finding out that Colton was the one that had died was suspect by dropping his fork or acting weird. But it's just not enough. No one had seen it. Everyone's like, no, he would act weird. Colton was his best friend. Like, what are you saying? Like, it didn't land. And so when people came to her and was like, okay, so now you're putting your traitor finger on Rob, and yesterday you just did like a throwaway vote, but it ends up being that you think it is. Like that's kind of weird. And she's like, "Yeah, no, that's because it happened this morning." Candace having unfortunately promised Rob right before the round table that she was going to make mincemeat of him. I mean, she really gave a performance of her lifetime where she's like, "I know who you are. You're a snake. You can't charm me. All the tattoos all over your arms, that's all your family. That's all you are. That's your mom. That's your dad. That's you. That's like you. There's more pictures of you. Those are you. Those are that's who you come from. You are a snake. You cold-hearted snake. I've been looking in your eyes. Uh-oh. You've been telling lies to this whole house. You're a lover boy. That's what Chris says. She just keeps singing that whole song to him. He's like, "Can I get out of here?" um Yeah, Rob, it's funny because Rob, she's basically so pissed, but she does such a good job of holding it together. It's why I'm like, oh God, I really almost wish I went to law school just to like see, badass, especially women or whatever, badass people get to hold their ground in conversations. Just when you get to have moments of being like, I know you, I see you. You can't pull the wool over my eyes, buddy. I'm right here. Yeah. I'm right here. You can't do it. But there's a little fantasy about that. And that is what she says. She's basically like, if I go down, your name's coming out. And then he's like, well, that's bad sportsmanship. And she's like, that's bad sportsmanship? That's bad sportsmanship? Like she's like, don't you fucking say anything to me about how to play this game. She's so pissed. And I get it. It's because he's backed her into a corner. he never I'm saying this is unfortunate. I'm like, "Candace, why didn't you, like, go up to him and butter him up or whatever?" And the other truth is he certainly didn't do it to her, and he certainly didn't do it to Lisa. It's like he walked into that tour and then saw that there was 2 housewives and was like, "I don't want this. Fuck this." And then he won. And it's like, okay, at this point, Candace obviously is voted out, and she is, of course, a traitor. And now everyone's like, "Oh my god, Rob." And so now Rob is now the only traitor left. So of course, Alan has to go up to him and be like, "All right, let's bring another fishy in, honey." And he's like, "What do I do?" And at first we're like, "Moira, I guess that one's in love with you. You should do her." And he decides to do admit okay, so then he's like, "Yeah, I could do that. I could do someone who they think is an absolute traitor and then just use that person like a, used tissue and then get them to banish that traitor and then just still be another traitor. Um, but then you also run the risk of that person pointing you out. And then he's like, or you just get the smartest person you can and just take that person to the end. And that's what he does. And he picks Eric. So Eric is offered a chance to join the traitors. Traitor. Rob. My loves. Moira went on, I think, a Watch What Happens Live and teased that they may or may not be together and they may or may not have like romance coming up in the next part of the season. And I'm really happy about that. I don't mind a little sex. Just in time for the holiday. um, yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm having like some brain fog issues, which is like making me like remembering names a little hard. I cannot believe I forgot Phaedra's name. I can't believe I called her Portia. Um, I don't wanna get my Real Housewives confused, and I don't wanna get my, like, lovely, like, Black American Real Housewives confused, especially with the ones that begin with a P that were on Atlanta, especially when I was talking about my other lovely Black American Real Housewife who's a lawyer when I was talking about Candace. So all of that is happening. I'm sad about Candace being gone. She definitely was like my favorite trader. Even though I think that Rob is hot, I don't want to just like put my eggs in or my gold in a basket of someone who's just gonna fuck over other people. I feel like that's what's happening in the world already, and it just feels shitty. It also low key feels like, how come men just fuck over people all the time? Doesn't that kind of feel like it means like Lisa and Candace were like, oh, we're just gonna like be the traders all together in one big happy family, and Rob was like, now. I love when Colton was like, "Yeah, buddy, it's just me and you with probably the final 6, like, I'll hold your gold." And, just like, "Yeah, Lisa, you're a traitor." And then Rob's like a traitor and just doesn't put up a fight to save Colton. That was fine for him to get killed. If not, better for Rob because it makes him look more safe, more like a faithful. Ugh, can you believe it? Yeah, Natalie has an interesting game. She just it seems too emotionally invested, so I don't quite understand like where her head's at. Tara is funny because Tara feels like she's just being tossed around the house. I like her personality, but like every one of her like guesses or moves are bad. I don't know why anyone doesn't suspect Rob, except that I think that maybe Kristen does, because I think that Kristen does because I think that Kristen has an absolute spidey sense for toxic masculinity gone off the rails. And I think that Rob had been doing a pretty good job keeping the lid on his because Colton was so loud. And if Colton was so loud, Michael was there. Michael Rappaport was taking all the space in the room. Michael leaves, and then Colton is taking all the space in the room. And now with Colton gone, Rob is going to have to make moves like in a higher volume. And I think that they're just going to be like seen more. He already has a lot of heat on him. Now, we said he has this dagger, and I know certain people know that he has the dagger. So as we go into the episodes, I wonder if that power starts to lay bare the idea that he has too much power. They're going to have another twist in the game. Obviously, the antidote was a twist, and obviously the dagger in itself is a twist. They're going to have to give the faithfuls or someone the opportunity to see the truth or to see the traitor, to see Rob. They're going to have to give one of the faithfuls, yeah, the ability to maybe guess or have a clue of who one of the traitors is. And I think that that pressure is going to hopefully give Rob like some sweat. You can't just have him like win the whole thing. All right, my loves. Tonight, Love is Blind premieres, so I'm excited to watch that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking Traitors with me. I hope you guys like the show. I'm enjoying it so far. I loved the pearl gorgeous jacket that Alan wore during the black banquet. Pearl eyebrows and like this dripping pearl jacket. There's this place on Melrose. It's called Cosmos Glam Squad. It's like this club kid very drag friendly, queer friendly fashion boutique. And they always have like super outlandish things. And it feels like whoever buys things for the show like goes there and like picks up pieces because this pearl jacket like is ideally something from Cosmos Glam Squad. I love pearls. Um yeah, I just everyone looks so good. Later on I think Alan wears one of his it feels like Alan in the amazing Technicolor tartan two-piece suit. It's like every kind of plaid, that kind of Scottish plaid that like Christmas pajamas are made out of. The blue ones, the green ones, the buffalo plaid, the red ones, the white ones. If you had just gotten a bunch of the Christmas PJs that we all know and love, and then, they're probably discarded after a while and just cut and pasted, patched together, a two-piece suit, honey. He wears one of those for one of the challenges. Um, Thank you guys again, not only for listening, but will you also tell me if you feel like the Taco Bell commercial is like wildly genetically altered, where genetically, or like, retouched in a way where you're like, I can't tell whose face that is. I can't believe that they got Caroline to say beefy, cheesy gordita crunch. I mean, that's the beefy, cheesy gordita crunch. Her voice is so great. I can't do it. Gotta do my better. I gotta do some better impressions for my Caroline. It's so great that they've had people with fun voices on Traitors. Like Gabby's like super dry, fun voice. I mean, everyone will remember her infamous inside out garment bag look from last year. Um, I'm so impressed by the fashion. I'm so thankful that the people on the show are like coming out because it's difficult to like show up with all these like amazing looks. And I'm so appreciative to be a little audience member. Okay, so 90 Day Fiance, The Single Life is out. You can listen to my recap on Vanity Fair or on YouTube if you want to see. Actually, no. If you want to see the visuals for The Single Life premiere, that is only on Patreon. Sorry about it. So that's patreon.com/Chris Farah. Going forward, you can see all the visuals and the episodes first and foremost on the Patreon. And then I'll release them to YouTube, maybe or maybe not, depending on if I like the way I looked in them. So having said that, Before the 90 Days is also happening. That's in the docket. Obviously, Traitors. And then coming up, Love is Blind. I'm so pumped. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let's do 2 breaths. Happy Valentine's Day, and I'll send you on your merry way. Thank you so much for following me down into the valley night. Honey, I hope your flowers bloomed. All right. Can you believe 8 people are in the room with me right now? It's 7:23 p.m. For some reason, in this space and time, we are all together. It's kind of exciting because no matter where you are, driving or a different city or thinking about what you have to do or half watching something or half cooking, or for some reason I'm an open tab on your browser and you're listening to my sound of my voice like some ASMR. God bless. Why you would do that? Who knows? No matter though, we are all together in this moment, and this entire world seems disconnected, sometimes not even real. And so to hang on to these moments of like what is happening in real time, what is happening in the present moment, it brings me and my nervous system relief. And so that's why I guess I try to practice it, and why I'm practicing it with you guys. You're my friends, and you came over to my house on my YouTube channel or on my podcast. And so I just want to hang out with my friends and make sure we're all doing some due diligence to be with ourselves, present in this moment, grounded, feet on the floor. Whatever you have to do so that your mind is with us, the people in this room. We're doing it all for each other, either listening to the sound of my voice or whatever's happening in your room or your breath sensorily to bring you to this very time. 2 breaths. We don't always have to get everything right the first time. Practice it. It never actually has to be right. We can just move a little closer to some goal. And that is enough. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Blowing it all out. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for just like sharing a little space with me and then just taking in my thoughts, my voice, my image for however many minutes. Why you would do that, I'll never know, you know, but I certainly feel like a certain amount of, I guess, approval or validation from it. So I really thank you for it. You know, it's hard out there, but I also want you to have like whatever I can give to you from that moment and from this moment. So share yourselves, I guess is why I say what I say. You have to take care of yourself, first and foremost, and make sure you can like do anything, so you can take care of others. It's important. It's like the best way we can take care of ourselves. You have to stand up for what you believe and you make art. So, my loves, I would love you to tell me the ways in which you do any of those things. And if you find an unexpected way that you do it, even if you did something and then later on you're like, you know what? I made a batch of oatmeal for my cousin. I sprinkled goji berries and cinnamon in it. It was pretty in the morning, and then I gave it to that person. It was a little artistic, a little piece of art, and I gave it to that person. And I also had one for me. So you know what? I did it. Took care of myself, took care of others, made art. Done. Stood up for what I believe, which is a yummy breakfast, proteiny breakfast, or whatever, healthy breakfast. You know, like a sustainable, carby, energy breakfast that sits with you, honey, that keeps you going. No spikes in the blood sugar necessary. Just let's get down to work. All right, my babes, I've already let you know everything that's happening. Of course, please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel on YouTube, Chris Farah. Please go and follow and give 5 stars to Vanity Fair wherever you listen to podcasts. And also follow me. I'm at Chris L. Farah. I am on Patreon, Substack, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on Facebook, and I have a Facebook group, Vanity Fair, where you can go. And I always post before I go live, some sort of schedule. So thank you so much again. All right, babies. I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you, coming up this week because of Love is Blind and such. So a lot of fun things happening. Make sure you're following.